Hi, my name is Victor. Welcome to the shadows where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. Here, every whisper holds a secret, every shadow hides a story, and every turn could lead to the unknown. This is a place where mysteries unravel, fears come to life, and the thrill keeps you on the edge. Dare to enter? Let the story begin. The road to Blackthorn Ridge was long and winding, cutting through dense forests and over steep hills. 4 teenagers, Emma, Jason, Lily, and Ryan, had decided to take a weekend road trip to explore the picturesque, secluded town they had heard whispers about online. The photos promised lush green woods, quaint streets, and a serene lake. But Blackthorn Ridge offered something far darker. When they arrived, the town immediately felt off. The streets were eerily quiet, and the few locals they encountered seemed to study them with cold, distant eyes. Despite the strange atmosphere, the group set up camp at a nearby clearing in the woods. They spent the day hiking, taking pictures, and laughing around a fire as the sun dipped below the horizon. Later that night, as they were joking and telling ghost stories, Emma noticed faint lights flickering deeper in the forest.
Do you see that?
She whispered, her voice trembling. The others followed her gaze and saw the glow. Curious and emboldened by the thrill of adventure, the group decided to investigate. The teenagers moved quietly through the underbrush, the sound of their footsteps swallowed by the thick canopy above. As they drew closer, they began to hear rhythmic chanting. Hidden behind a thick cluster of trees, they peered out into a clearing lit by torches. There stood a group of elderly people in long, dark robes arranged in a circle. At the center of their ritual was a young woman, bound and blindfolded, her muffled cries filling the air. Emma gasped, and Jason quickly covered her mouth. But it was too late. One of the robed figures turned sharply toward the sound. His face was obscured, but the sudden silence that followed was deafening. The teenagers froze, panic coursing through their veins. The group leader spoke in a guttural tone.
We have intruders.
The circle broke, and the robed figures began moving toward the trees, spreading out like hunters stalking prey. "Run!" Ryan hissed, grabbing Lily's hand. The group bolted back toward their campsite, their breaths ragged, hearts pounding. The forest seemed to close in on them, the branches clawing at their skin as they stumbled through the darkness. Behind them, the sound of footsteps and whispers grew louder. They reached the campsite only to find it ransacked. Their tents were slashed, their belongings scattered. The car's tires were slashed, leaving them trapped. Jason grabbed his camera, which was still intact, and shoved it into his bag.
"We'll head to the town. Someone will help us,"
he shouted. But as they reached the outskirts of Blackthorn Ridge, it became clear that no help would come. The townsfolk stood in silence, lining the main street, their faces expressionless. It was as if they had been waiting. One by one, the teenagers were picked off. Lily disappeared first, her scream echoing through the night. Ryan was dragged into the shadows, his cries abruptly silenced. Jason and Emma made it to the edge of the woods before Jason was pulled into the darkness. Emma ran blindly, tears streaming down her face, until she tripped and fell. She looked up to see the robed figures surrounding her. The leader stepped forward, pulling back his hood to reveal a face, weathered with age but sharp with menace.
You shouldn't have come here.
He said coldly. The last thing Emma saw was the glint of a blade. Weeks later, the police arrived in Blackthorn Ridge, after concerned parents reported the teenagers missing. The town seemed normal, and its residents were polite but unhelpful. The campsite was discovered, but there was no sign of struggle. No evidence of the teenagers' presence other than Jason's camera. When the officers reviewed the footage, they found eerie clips of the group laughing, hiking, and joking. But the final recording differed. It was shaky. The camera pointed at the ground as panicked voices screamed in the background. The last clear shot was of the robed figures illuminated by torchlight. The police searched for the group of old people but found no trace. The townsfolk claimed to know nothing of any ritual, insisting the teenagers must have wandered off into the woods. The investigation was quietly closed, chalked up to an accident. Blackthorn Ridge went back to its quiet, unassuming existence. But the forest seemed darker, the air heavier. And somewhere deep in the woods, the Marganam waited for their next sacrifice. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling tales. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. You never know what's lurking in the shadows of the next story. Thank you for joining me in exploring the dark and mysterious. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, sometimes the quietest places hide the loudest secrets. See you soon, if you dare.